The Valoric's scout fleet drifted through the asteroid belt, their obsidian hulls absorbing the faint glimmers of starlight. Commander Jacques, encased in his pressurized command chamber, regarded the scene with a predator's anticipation. The survey report spoke of untapped resources, but it was the unusual energy signals, erratic, whispering across the electromagnetic spectrum, that unsettled him. The mission, a low-priority scouting expedition, had been hastily deployed to chase rumors of anomalies. For an empire built on rapid conquest, anything less than swift success was an embarrassment. "This system is primitive," Jacques muttered, his voice a low growl. "Send a warning volley. They must understand their place." The tactical officer complied, releasing a precision salvo into a cluster of derelict mining stations. Explosions flared in muted bursts, scattering debris like fireflies in the dark. Yet, moments later, an eerie silence fell. The humans responded, but not with weapons. A transmission cut through Valeric's comms, a cascade of distorted voices, layered and overlapping, each speaking a language the Valerics had never heard. It was like a choir of the damned, their words laced with mockery and sorrow. Jacques' spines bristled. "Cut the signal," he barked. "It's not coming from one source," the officer stammered, his eyes darting over fractured readouts. "It's everywhere." The humans' response came not in a counterattack, but a phantom-like maneuver. Their vessels, ragged and cobbled together, moved with an uncanny fluidity. They didn't meet the Valorics head-on, but lured them deeper into the asteroid field, where dense clusters of rock and shadows devoured visibility. Inside the Valoric ships, the crew grew agitated. The recycled air tasted wrong, stale and metallic. Their supply chains, designed for short bursts of conquest, faltered under the strain of prolonged engagements. Food rations dwindled and morale cracked. The humans' tactics capitalized on this. Strange, looping signals seemed harmless at first, but wormed their way into subconscious fears. Dreams grew dark and restless, filled with visions of cracked worlds and endless voids. In the isolation of the belt, the humans' ingenuity began to surface. On board the Lament, Jacques brooded over the latest reports. A mining vessel, retrofitted with what the Valorics thought was patchwork weaponry, had turned out to be a decoy. It detonated itself near a supply barge, releasing corrosive particles that rendered the ship's foodstuffs inedible. Another Valoric's destroyer fell to an ambush, its engines crippled by crude yet effective EMP bursts, hidden within a hollowed-out asteroid. "What are we dealing with?" Jacques muttered, his claws tracing the edges of the command table. "Survivors," replied field strategist Mintak, her voice laced with dry resignation. She gestured to a tactical display littered with erratic human ship movements. "They don't fight to conquer. They fight to outlast. Every hour we stay here, they win." Jacques snarled, dismissing her words. Weakness doesn't outlast strength, but strength was faltering. Days stretched into weeks, and the Valerics found themselves ensnared in the humans' subtle war. Every supply line was frayed, every maneuver thwarted. The humans' tactics felt disturbingly personal, as if they understood their enemies better than the Valorics understood themselves. When the first Valorics officers began murmuring about strange dreams, visions of cracked worlds and endless voids, it was dismissed as exhaustion. But then a high-ranking commander aboard the Dreadspire vented himself into space. "We cannot continue," Mintak finally said, breaking the silence of the war room. "They've unraveled us. It's time to speak." Jacques' pride buckled under necessity. A transmission was sent to the humans. The meeting took place on neutral ground, a derelict station orbiting a dying planetoid. Jacques entered the chamber with a contingent of guards, only to find his human counterpart waiting alone. The figure was clad in a worn pressure suit, the visor scratched and pitted. The human spoke first, their voice muffled but steady. "We don't want war, Commander. We never did." Jacques studied the figure, searching for weakness. "Then why fight like creatures with nothing to lose?" "Because you gave us no choice," the human replied. "Survival teaches creativity. We've had centuries to learn." The negotiation was bitter and brief. Humanity offered a portion of the asteroid resources in exchange for technology that would stabilize Earth's faltering ecosystems. It wasn't generosity that brought them to the table, nor was it the Valorix's mercy. It was necessity, a shared, unspoken truth etched into the hollowed eyes of both parties. As Jacques returned to his fleet, he stared at the asteroid belt one last time. It wasn't the resources or the energy signals that would haunt him, but the whispers, the faint echoes of resilience in the void.